Okay, 105. Well, thank you everyone for joining the webinar today. Pretty sure we're good to go. So I'm Zach and I'm the CEO here at MeazureUp. I want to thank everyone for taking time out of your day. I know the restaurant world is busy, especially around lunchtime. So thank you for taking, anywhere from 45 to an hour out of your day to sit in our webinar about our DailyChex platform and how we could help with your kitchen line checks and your temperature logs. We really do appreciate it. So here's just a brief overview of what we're going to cover today. So first, we're going to go through kitchen checklist and your temperature logs today. So kind of talk about what most restaurants or restaurant chains are doing today in terms of checklist when it regards to their kitchen and their temperature logs. We're going to talk about how DailyChex or any digital platform can help with your current process and how we can make that process a lot better. And give you some metrics and some accountability to what you're doing today. Then we're going to go through a demonstration. So we're going to show you the DailyChex platform. We're going to show you an example of a kitchen checklist combined with a temperature log. So we're going to show you a couple examples of how you can put your kitchen line checks or temp logs into our platform. We're going to cover a little bit about failed task notification, so show what happens when something is wrong. And then we're going to take you through the back end of the application, show how that information is stored, how it's maintained, how you get some insights, and overall just have everything digitalized and make your stores more efficient and hopefully ensure brand consistency for your organization. So once again, thank you everyone for joining. Just before I kick off, I just want to ask to start a poll here and understand what you're currently doing for this process. So I'm just going to launch a poll and give you about 30 to 60 seconds to fill it out. Okay, thank you everyone who filled that out. So it looks here, just majority of the individuals here are still using paper checklists. We got a little bit, about 12% on digital platform and 6% no process. So we're going to show you what are the advantages of moving off these paper checklists and how we can help. So most chains today are still using paper Excel for their in-store checklists. If you take a look on the right, that is an example of a temperature log. And if anyone does want some free paper checklists, you can go on our website. But that's just showing an example of a temperature log that is currently being used at majority of your stores. I hope all of you are recording your temperature logs and doing kitchen checklist. Most kitchen checklists tend to include things around kitchen cleanliness. So, are the counters clean? Are your dishes clean? Or the storage areas cleans. Then it talks about storage, food storage procedures, and that could be both for your fridge and freezers, so making sure your food is getting stored in those fridge and freezer areas properly. Also, when you are cooling your items, are they getting cooled in the proper duration? That is super important, especially if you're cooking something during the day and going to reuse it. If you actually are cooling that material over the right amount of time and getting it to the right temperature. From a food storage perspective, are you storing the food properly? There's no cross contamination? Is it getting stored proper space above the ground? These are really important components to make sure that your consumers are safe. And then food temperature logs, not just from a fridge and freezer perspective, making sure that the food is stored properly when it's not cooked. But if you are cooking it, are you cooking it to the right temperature? Are you probing your food? Because you want to make sure that you are not serving chicken that is not at the proper temperature, because people could get salmonella and people get sick. So from a kitchen checklist perspective, these are super, super important. We obviously know that health inspectors do visit your stores on a regular basis. I live here in Toronto and we have health inspectors come around every 3 months to visit a store. And if someone does violate a health inspection, there is a red sign on the door. I know other cities and other states have the same thing. And I know where I live in Toronto, article, blog websites, restaurant websites will pick up that information and will post that. So that's not good for your brand, and it's not good for consumer confidence. Also, you just want to make sure your customers are safe. You don't want anyone going home and getting sick because you're violating, kitchen procedures and you're serving food that isn't to proper standards. If someone does have a bad experience and gets sick, or realizes that you are violating some kitchen procedures and they start posting about that, that's going to wreck your brand. It's going to, affect that customer from coming back to your store, and also impact potentially other customers, because people do talk word of mouth, and, will impact your sales for your store. So it's really important that these checklists are being completed, making sure people are executing on your process, keeping people safe, and, making sure that your customers are coming back and helping with your revenue numbers. So, first step is going with that paper checklist. It's a super, super important to do them. However, with paper checklists, with a lot of paper issue with papers is there are problems, there are inefficiencies. A couple things to note here is lack of accountability. So we don't know if the store is actually doing it. We don't know who did it, right? So you have these stores are filling out their checklist. Was it actually completed properly? Did they do it over, did someone just quickly pencil whip that checklist? Or did they take their time? Did they inspect the store? Did the person who actually did it take ownership and sign off on it? So we're not having accountability, knowing that our stores are doing this on a regular basis. Not time sensitive. So with these checklists, I'm happy that, this checklist on the right says that you have to, do your temp checks 11 a.m. and 4 p.m., but are your stores actually doing them? Or are they just going to the back of the house and filling out that checklist all at once and just making sure that at the end of the day that I've actually filled in the temperatures of those poultries or of those fridge temperatures, making sure they're proper, and they're just doing it all at once and not actually making sure that this is done at 9 a.m. because your customers are coming in half an hour, 45 minutes later. So we don't have anything around time sensitivity. Storing the checklist, what is this getting stored of? Most organizations might keep this on a clipboard on the back, maybe sitting on a binder. Kitchens are pretty dirty. Things tend to rip, things get spilled on. So we want to make sure that these checklists are being stored properly. No real-time insights. So if there is a problem, or someone hasn't completed their checklist, or there is a very, very important violation. I know around COVID, there's a lot of really sensitive stuff right now. How do we know those things are being done, and how do we get insights? How do we know what stores aren't completing their checklists on a regular basis, and how do we know what things are failing on a regular basis, and how can we fix those? We also have an inefficiency of updating your checklist on a regular basis. A majority of people here probably work for restaurant chains, and processes are changing on a regular basis. We're giving new product offerings off to our customers, which will require some additional kitchen checklist procedures or storing procedures. How do we get that stuff updated to our stores in real time? Right now, I'm pretty sure you probably emailed the store an updated version. We're hoping they print it off, and then we're hoping that a district manager is going to show up to your store and make sure they're using the new checklist. Now, if you go digital, that problem will be removed. That's the same thing with the real-time insight, just to note on that the only time you're going to get insights to your store if they're violating your day-to-day checklist is when a district manager comes to the store and actually does that inspection. So how do we get that information on a regular basis? And not reliable for health and safety records. So when a health inspector comes, we want to make sure we're presenting something that's reliable, and going digital, especially going paper, is going to give you more reliable information. We're going to know that's been completed at the proper times, where these paper checklists aren't going to, give that health inspector confidence that store or that unit is complying with those kitchen and temperature checks on a regular basis. So what are the benefits of DailyChex? So that's the name of our daily checklist platform. But what are the benefits of going digital just in general, even if you're using Google Sheets or anything you want? The ability to update your checklist on a regular basis in seconds. That's a big advantage I mentioned. You go digital right away, you add that new item. I'm actually going to show you, you could actually add, in our case, you could add training material or images to show how to do that new process. So having that updated in real time is super important. Time sensitive checklists. So having those checklists that are due at 9 and restricting stores to actually complete those checklists at 9 a.m. is super important. And I'm going to show you when we go through the demo how our digital platform can do that. Real-time compliance reports. So when something is submitted and something has been violated, alerting, if it's a food safety team, if it's your district managers, if it's a C-level, in real time getting those alerts, that's something digital. That's something going with a digital platform is going to help. Obviously, having things stored digitally, it won't be lost. So if a health inspector comes in or a district manager does come in to inspect your store, you have everything, online, easily have the ability to print it off, and it's stored automatically in the cloud. Easily identify incomplete daily checklists. So the ability to see right away what stores aren't completing their checklist, as opposed to finding out that information when you go to your inspection. This will complement that inspection process and complement our audit platform, ensuring that those checklists have been done on a regular basis. And when you do go there, at least you're not, not knowing exactly what's going on. You got a slight understanding that store is performing, they're completing their checklist on a regular basis, and then no more paper. So we're talking from an environment perspective, getting rid of paper is always better, and going digital helps that. So that's just a quick overview of what the benefits are and what people are doing today. What I'm going to do right now is pop my phone on the screen and go through a demo and show you how our platform can help you. So bear with me 1 second. Let's pop this up. One second here. Okay, so you should be able to see my phone. Let's do this. So this is the MeazureUp DailyChex application. So most of you go in paper. This is what our application works with, how our application looks. We're iOS, Android friendly, phone or tablet. So you could use any device. Some organizations have multiple users at a store. Some will just use one account for the whole unit. So you could go either way from accountability. And there's additional things we have put in place to make sure if you are using one login, that we're holding that individual who actually completed the checklist accountable. So I'm going to log in here. I'm going to pick my bay location. If you're assigned to one store, you're only going to see that store. And what you could see here is we got a list of a bunch of different checklists here. So we got our AM, PM checklist and our kitchen and temp log. If you take a look here, we can see here that the checklist on the top here is due at 9 a.m. Right now it's 1:16. So what we could create, this checklist actually is 4 hours overdue. What majority of our customers do is they're going to put parameters and they're going to make sure that that checklist maybe has a 45 to an hour window after it's due to actually complete it. So let's say it's 10 o'clock. This AM, PM checklist will actually vanish and you won't actually have the ability to complete it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click into one of these kitchen temp logs and we're going to see a bunch of different questions that we could do for that specific checklist. On the left here, we'll have a menu bar and we could store those by total or pending or by the different sections. So on our kitchen and temp log checklist here, so we got temp logs around your protein or your food products, you got refrigeration temps, and we got dish station and prep station from a cleanliness perspective. So here's just an example of things you have. And as I mentioned, if you go on our website, you could download some free checklists around your kitchen and temp logs. So I'm going to start completing some things here. So let's start putting some temperatures for poultry. If it's not 165, look, it's going to turn red on the top left there. We got a little red icon indicating that's a fail. We got red meat here. I'll put another one here. Let's go with 135. Once again, so making sure temperatures are the right temperatures. If they're failing, they're going to turn red. Also, if you do have a Bluetooth thermometer, we work with Cooper Atkins and ThermoWorks. And if you double click on a question, actually not holding a Bluetooth thermometer right now, I do apologize. It's at our office. But if you click it in, it's automatically going to pull that reading into that task. And we're going to be able to hold that store to a higher level accountability. They're not going to be writing it in. And we're actually going to document it that it's been completed with a Bluetooth thermometer. Other things we can do, if you look at this poultry question, so let's say we updated this task and we wanted to show the unit what they have to take a look for. Click on that info button. In this case, we added a video. So click on that. And here, I'm not sure the sound comes through. But here we could see a video of how to actually take the temperature for that chicken item. We could also add images if you don't have training videos. So we got a little freeze there on the Zoom. Oh, sorry about that. If I go down to the red meat here and I click on the info there, looks like Zoom's going a little slow. It will put an image indicating, you can also put images. So you can do videos, images, and text. And that's super important. Instead of having those training manuals that your stores or units have to go to, add the training material here. It's a lot easier for them to learn how to do that task in the moment, as opposed to looking at the task, going back to the training manual and actually looking at how to do that. Other things we can do, if there is a problem on a task, we could add an action. So that's like a follow-up plan. So create your action. I'm going to click the action button here. Let's say, fix this ASAP, action required. And once you complete it, it'll automatically put this little action icon on that question. If I click on that, it will drive me back to that note where I could edit it, delete it, or update it. So we know how the temperatures work. Let me just put something around here. Let's just do this quickly. So you could just quickly click the next button and it's automatically going to jump you to your next question. So you don't have to put down the device. Makes it pretty efficient to complete this checklist. We also have the ability, I'm not sure if stores want to do this, but you could pre-populate what a response should be. So maybe for like a yes and no question, if you want this to automatically be yes, maybe it's like a lunchtime checklist and it's not as important, predefine that as yes, and it'll save your store some time, even though we do want them to do a time conscious checklist and make sure they're going through each aspect. We could preset those as well to make life a little bit easier for your in-store employees. Yeah, so we got some yeses and nos here. So glassware is clean, rolling carts, clean, sanitize, all the dishes that are not wet. We could also, what we can do here is we can add a note. So notes give you ability for that GM or that employee to add a comment on a specific checklist. So, had a problem cleaning the fryer. We could also add an image. So obviously I'm not in a kitchen here, but here's my water bottle. And we could attach that image to that checklist. In the back end, your stores could access that. The comments and the actions do live on the actual device. So I'll show you how you could review those images or comments and actions right here on your mobile device. Let's just complete a couple more here. Restock all the PPE. No, no, yes, no, 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 yes. So pretty quick for us to do. Couple of the features I didn't cover on here, but maybe you want to do a selectable task. I know a lot of stores have questions for the kitchen where it says probe 2 of 5 items. We can do that as well, where you could have a drop down to select those. So on this platform, you can do multiple choice. You could do date, you could do temperature, and you could do yes and no. Yes and no and temperature are the most popular, but you could customize this application however you want. Whatever is relevant to your kitchen or your temperature checks, you'll be able to add this in here. When I click the review button, it's going to take you to a final summary page here. So this is where you're going to be able to see what's going on here. So what we can see here is everything's completed. We could see the actions here, everything's no, everything's yes. So just give you a summary of that report. Now you can make it mandatory for someone to upload a signature or optional. So in this case, I'm going to put my name here as Zach Matlow, and I'm actually going to sign off. The stores that tend to have one user like this component, and if it's a really important checklist, such as temperature checks and kitchen checklists, it's really important for you to do that. So here you can go and we can actually submit the checklist. So we're signing off. We're going to click submit, and we're good to go. Looks like a couple people raise their hands. Okay. I'm gonna leave the room for, if you have any questions, just bear with me. I'm gonna give the opportunity to ask questions after we're done with the demonstration here. So we're just gonna go back. So when an when an inspection is completed, what happens next? So a couple things. So one, if there is a problem, just give me a second here. You can set up notifications to automatically get sent to specific stakeholders. How do we get the Bluetooth thermometer? So let me answer that after, but basically you'll be able to order those through ThermoWorks or Cooper Atkins. But let me just go back here. Sorry about that. So I'm gonna click on here, task out of range. So here's a quick summary report. So here what we're gonna see is, quick notification, failed notifications. So here are some tasks that are out of range. So the walk-in cooler, the walk-in freezer, the wing fridge, and ensure PPE meets safety requirements. Those have all failed, and we have notified the proper stakeholders. In most cases, that's going to be your district managers, maybe some C-level people, but they're going to see that notification right away. Now, from a back-end perspective, so this is our back-end. This is the back-end of the DailyChex. Let me just refresh it here. This is our initial view. So the initial view here, and depending who logs in, is going to see different perspectives. So let's say you're a 100 location chain or even a 5 location chain. If you manage 1 store, this line is going to be for your 1 store. If you're an area manager for 5 stores or 3 stores, you're going to see your 3 stores here. So here I can see I completed my kitchen and temp log at 12. I didn't do my 9 a.m. one. So right away, you're going to have the ability to see what's going on. You could also break down that information by different markets. So set that up. That's fully customizable. I'm in Canada, maybe one divided by provinces, or if you're in the States, divided by states. Different store types, maybe there's stores that have drive-through or non-drive-through. Brands, if you're a multi-brand concept and you have a couple, you probably don't want that information in the same place. And then corporate or franchise. If you are a large organization, have franchise stores, how are your corporate stores doing against your franchise stores? Then we got our submission dashboard here. So this is just a summary of what's going on across your organization. And once again, depending who logs in, if I log in as a GM, I'm gonna get a whole different perspective of what's going on here. Let me just do a week worth of data. So here I could see for this week, so the last 7 days, we have completed 10 checklists and we missed 15. So not pretty good. We obviously want that number to be a lot higher, but here we could see these numbers are matching. But if I logged in and I manage one store and let's say I'm averaging 40%, the organization's 90%, I'm quickly gonna see that I'm underperforming the organization. So here I could see all my different checklists, and maybe I wanna click on a couple of them. And when I click on that, everything below will change. You could use the same filters as you did before. And I could see here, we have 2 stores in our top percentile and 8 stores in our bottom percentile. So these are stores that are in our lower 50% quartile. So I could click on these stores and I could quickly see that this Sudbury store has not completed any checklists over the last week. 7 missed, 0 completed. So that's the store we probably want to focus on and making sure that they're improving. We could also see here how many missed and how much, on average, this store is +5. So they're usually 5 minutes late on completing their checklist on a regular basis. So that's just a summary report here. Now by a checklist by location. So this is digitizing your logs. So no more having that clipboard in the back. We're going to present this, we're going to store this information for you. So I'm just on the Bay location here and I'm on a specific checklist. So you could filter down. I just did the kitchen line check. But let's say, your AM, PM checklist. So you could see here, we're getting your logs by day. Everything will be stored. Your images and photos will be here. And sorry, they're not a kitchen one. Once again, I'm at my house conducting this demo. But you could see here, that information stored. We're going to see our yeses and nos. We'll be able to print this off by just clicking on the print icon or export it as a CSV file. So some people like that because it just gives you a nice view of all those tasks. And we're storing this information forever. From a printing perspective, health inspector comes in, you'll be able to give a 1 month worth of data, but you could do, all of August, all of September, all of July, just print them off. So here you'll be able to see that information. And then logs by location. So this will be your logbook. I know this is for the one we just did here. So we can see here, did very bad. I put everything out of control. But yeah, this will keep populating. We could even put the 2 combined. But yeah, you'll be able to have your kitchen, your temperature log stored right here and the ability to print this off. This report, you actually have the ability to print off 3 months worth of data in one shot. Really nice. Once again, health inspector comes in, print this off and present it to the team. So overall, this application gives you the ability to conduct your kitchen line checks very easily. Everything's stored online. You're getting insights right away. You know what top things are failing. You know what problems you're having. And hopefully in complement to our audit platform, when you do show up to the store, you have a good feeling that that store is performing well or not performing well. And when you get there, hopefully help improve them on things that they're not compliant with and hopefully ensure that your brand's being consistent and making sure your customers are happy. I'm not going to go through configuration, but everything in the back end is customized. So customize your tasks, when they're due. You could customize, what tasks you're doing specific days. We also have the notifications where you could set all your notifications here in the back end. So that is a breakdown of this. If there are any questions, I'm happy to answer them right now. So let's just, let's open the floor to any questions. So let me answer the first question here. How do we get the Bluetooth thermometer? So the way you get your Bluetooth thermometers, we could connect you, but you got them through ThermoWorks or Cooper Atkins. I'm going to say we work with majority of the probing thermometers, but we definitely could put you in touch with anyone you want. Can you get thermometers for each line fridge to log the ambient air temperature to ensure they are working, or if they go down? So in terms of that question, we are right now, we just finalized a partnership with a company that does do fridge sensors. So we probably could take a deeper look at that and see how we could connect you with that company and potentially put the 2 worlds together and let you put those sensors in your line fridges. Any other questions here? Let's see here in the chat. Nope, not working the screen. Sorry. Can you lose alerts to app on cell phone? So if a checklist not completed by a certain time. So short answer is no, but we are finishing that feature right now. So we are adding push notifications. I'm hoping that's out in the next 20 to 30 days, where we're putting alerts, push notifications right away that if they're not conducted, we're going to nudge that store to complete that. So if you are looking to try out this product and take a look at it, we will be able to set you up and and have those notifications there. Is a report showing chart of temperature reading over time? We don't have like a graph there, but you could see all the different temperatures for an item if they're going up and down over a period of time. Once again, with the partnership we are putting in place with that temperature company, you'll be able to see how your fridge temperatures are ranging over a period of time. Does the app have the option to import already checklists and items, or do we have to capture everything from manually? Does it have the option to import already existing checklists and items? So we could help. To answer your question there, we could help you in the setup. We could upload your checklist and help you there, but it's pretty easy to customize your own checklist and upload what you already have. So that's not hard for us to do. I've tried to register my DailyChex app, but it's not working. How can I go about that? So SK, just shoot us a message, email help@MeazureUp, and we'll help you set up your DailyChex application right after this and making sure everything is organized properly. Maintenance reminders for equipment. We don't have anything around maintenance reminders, but what you can do, Leo, is we could create a checklist that you might want to say a maintenance checklist is due the 15th of every month, and that will appear, and you could put all your maintenance questions in relation to that. So pretty easy to do. We'll set up those maintenance reminders for those specific maintenance checklists and give you the ability to do that. How do I download the app? You could download the app by going to the App Store or Play Store and searching DailyChex with an X. If you go on our website, you could also click, there are links to click to download. Once again, if you email us in, we could also help you go through the process and upload your forms. So yeah, you just go to the App Store, but we'll have to upload your list for you and give you the ability to test it out. Let's see here. Any other questions? And sorry if I went there too quick. Let's see here. Hopefully you were able to see everything. Anything else? Is there anything else? Is DailyChex included in an annual MeazureUp? It is a separate product. We can discuss, obviously, the MeazureUp customers. If you are MeazureUp customers, we could take you through it and show you the advantages and show you how the two are going to work together. But yeah, it is a separate platform on top of the MeazureUp application. A little bit different. GMs are using this as opposed to your district managers, and just the metrics and holding the list accountables and the reporting is slightly different. So we did separate them out for that, for that reason. If checklist not completed, you said advantages and cannot be done. Is there an option to allow checklists to be completed but just show up late? So yeah, you could keep it to run later, and on that dashboard you could see how many checklists have been completed late. So it depends what you want to do. From a training perspective, what we usually do is we'll first start off your checklist to be very, very long. So we'll make sure they're extended, and as you start getting the routine of doing them on a regular basis, start shrinking that to make sure you've changed the behavior. So we don't recommend at first making those checklists done quickly, but in the future, if you want to hold them accountable, just shrink that time frame. I joined late. Yes, we will be sending a video. How do we get pricing for DailyChex? It's the same thing. It's a per unit cost. Rich, just send an email in to us and we'll take you through the pricing and how that works. Is there a limit if logins under one account, having individual logins for each manager? No, there is no limits. We have an unlimited user model. So add as many users as you want to the applications. If you are setting up one login for an account, once again, you could do unlimited logins. One thing I probably should have touched on, which I didn't. So maybe it's a little bit more applicable for a full service store. But if you do have two users logging into the application, when I speak of the application, the mobile side, if two people log in the same time, they can actually work on that checklist. So some organizations will divide up those checklists. I got a back of house checklist and only my back of house staff will see it. And some will create one big checklist and have two people working on that checklist at the same time. But yeah, there is no limit on how many people could be under one account. Anything else? One new message. Thanks for the demo. No problem. And if anyone wants to see a more in-depth demo, just feel free to, I guess, go on our website. You could book a time there and I could take you through it, or I'll follow up after this with, we'll send you a video, give you a link to our website. If you want to download some free checklists just for you to use paper right now, feel free to download them off our website. And we could also take you through a more in-depth demo. There might be little tips and tricks that I missed out here, but we'll take you through that. I got another question here. If multiple people are accessing a checklist, will updates be seen in real time? Yeah, so they'll be able to see on their device that things are getting updated. So yeah, the answer to your question here, yeah. So multiple people will be able to see those updates in real time. Okay, keep this open. Oh, thank you. No problem, Peter. Okay, I'm just gonna send out one last poll. If there are any last minute questions, feel free to ask them. It's only 1:35. I know I booked it to 2, but I know everyone's busy here, so I don't want to take up too much of your time. So let me just launch another poll if it lets me. Is it not letting me? Interesting. I guess there is no more poll. Okay, oh, sorry, here you go. I'm gonna launch a poll here. So just the last thing. Just want to understand, would you like to try the digital checklist tool at your stores? And also, you know, I don't know why it said the second question, your current inspection process. Sorry, there's an error. But if you can't try it, is it a budget, timing, or no need, I'm happy? Don't know why that question popped up like that, but just want to find out if anyone is interested in trying out the platform here. I'm sorry to put the title for the second question. I think we put that together there. So leave this open. So everyone, monthly cost is about, I'm going to roughly say about $1 a day is what we typically charge. But you know, happy to have that conversation with you. I'll leave the poll open for another about 20, 30 seconds. Looks like we got a couple more questions here. I can't download the app or find it. Okay, Randall, just email us. And if you look DailyChex in the App Store or Play Store, so DAILY, Chex, CHEX. If you email us in, we'll help you, Randall, find that, or I'll shoot you an email after with a link to download it. Okay, SK, yeah, we'll help you. Also need to reuse MeazureUp for in-store assessments and DailyChex if I can get authorized register. Yeah, we'll help you with there, making sure you'll be able to do it. Not allowed to submit a response. Okay, Peter, just shoot me a message of your response and I'll reach out to you as well. Sorry about that. Let's see if that poll is gone. Perfect. Okay, well, sorry about the confusion on the second question. Don't know why that happened, but thank you everyone for joining. If you have any other questions, feel free to reach out to myself or anyone at MeazureUp, and thank you. Good luck with everything going on. Hopefully the reopenings are going smoothly, and looking forward to hearing from everyone and see if we could help. So take care, enjoy the rest of the week, and have a great long weekend. Oh.